Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining today. Today's Take30 for BI is going to be focused on Cloud BI. So we're going to compare a number of leading technologies. This is actually part one of two. A little bit more about that later. So we're going to cover Tableau, Power BI, Cognos, and Amazon QuickSight. And as always, we've got the one-to-ones running. So if you're interested in talking to our experts one-on-one about just about any topic, feel free to sign up on our COVID-19 page. Today's presenter, so Suresh, is going to focus on Tableau. John will cover Power BI. Bob will cover Cognos, and I will cover Amazon QuickSight. Why Cloud BI? Why is that important? What are the benefits? So the benefits are that Cloud BI is often serverless or virtualized, meaning you can start faster with less cost, time, and effort, and scalability is generally built in. You can quickly size your environment to meet demand. Upgrades are typically automatic, helping you avoid costly upgrade projects, and new functionality can be made available more quickly. And certainly as data gravity continues to move to the cloud, having your BI in the cloud makes analytics easier. And then finally, most Cloud BI supports subscription-based licensing where you only pay for what you use instead of the more rigid and costly traditional models. Okay. In terms of what the industry has to say, so we took a sampling here. So Dresner Advisory Services in their State of Cloud BI 2020 report called out that over half of enterprises say that Cloud BI is either critical or very important to their future. This is up from 48% in 2019. And they also state that COVID-19 is driving a further acceleration in the interest and adoption of Cloud BI, right? Because work from home has become the new normal. From O'Reilly, we learned that 17% of the respondents from companies with 10,000 or more employees have already moved all of their applications to the cloud. That's that's pretty striking. And then finally, from Constellation Research, it's really about data gravity, right? By 2020, 60% of all mission critical data will reside in the cloud. Okay, so lots of, again, we've seen this theme over the last couple of years. Not surprising. Okay, so first I'm going to turn it over to Suresh and to cover Tableau. So go ahead, Suresh.
All right, thank you, Scott. Good morning, everyone. So in the next couple of slides, we'll give you an overview of Tableau, the main products in Tableau, and features and licensing model, and also give you a perspective of what the industry is looking at Tableau and what we as Ironside look at Tableau. So at a high level, in terms of the products that Tableau has, Tableau Desktop is a desktop-based tool. This is kind of their main product for combining. It can connect to a lot of variety of data sources. You can combine the data sources, create curated data sets, and publish them to Tableau Server or Tableau Online. So this has been kind of the game changer initially when Tableau launched, because it's very easy to use for end user analysts to create visual analytics, really cool looking dashboards. So once we have the curated data sets and the dashboards developed in Tableau Desktop, you can either share them using Tableau Server or Tableau Online. So Tableau Server is basically, it provides a governed approach to self-service analytics that it's centralized management for all the published dashboards and data sets. You can enable security in there as well. The one neat feature about Tableau Server is that you can either have it on premises within your firewall, or you can deploy it to a public cloud like AWS or Google platform. If you do not want to maintain any of that, as the topic of today's discussion is Cloud BI, Tableau provides a fully hosted implementation of the server called Tableau Online, which is cloud-based. You don't have to maintain any server. You don't have to worry about any upgrades. It's a pay-as-you-go subscription model. Depending on how many users you need access to and what kind of users, you can just subscribe for the number of users, and you can get going in like a few minutes. So those are three, like in terms of the visualization and data preparation, bringing the data together, creating the dashboards and visualization. Those three are the main tools. Tableau also introduced recently a tool called Tableau Prep, which is basically it's kind of a lightweight ETL tool with a visual to combine, shape, and clean and operationalize the data preparation. Like I'm sure you would have run into a lot of data preparation using Excel spreadsheets with a lot of macro functions. Tableau Prep tries to optimize and operationalize all of that. Along with these four, Tableau also comes with like a couple of add-ons like Tableau Management add-on and Tableau Server Administration add-on. The Tableau Management add-on gives you a tool called Tableau Catalog, which is basically, it catalogs all the data sources that are being used in Tableau. It gives you a very nice lineage, metrics usage of the data sources that are being used, and also the impact analysis. If you have to figure out a particular data set, if something changes, what changes, like how many reports are being impacted or how many reports need to be updated, Tableau Catalog gives you information related to all of that. And in terms of the licenses, there's broadly two types of licenses. One is the subscription or user-based licensing, which we see most of the time with Tableau. There are three different kinds of licenses: Creator license, and Explorer license, and Viewer license. Creator is kind of the developer's license, which gives access to Tableau Desktop, Tableau Prep, and it's basically a developer's license. So somebody in the organization who would have to create curated data sets or dashboards for other users to view, Tableau Creator would be that developer license. Explorer license is a little lower to the Tableau Creator license. These are power users in the organization who would want to use the data sets that are published and create their own visualizations and dashboards. They would fall into the Explorer license. And as the viewer suggests, the viewer license is mainly for consumers who just want to look at the published dashboard, create alerts when data changes, and look at the dashboards in mobile, and users of that nature would fall into that. And in terms of the other license, this is more for the server. It's a core-based license. It's basically, you just pay for the amount of servers they install, and it doesn't matter how many users you have at that point. But I think we can move to the next slide. Yeah, so at a broad level, we wanted to highlight like what is the industry perspective and what we think in terms of Tableau or where it is today and go forward path. So I think the core product strength of Tableau has always been like intuitive visualization, exploration, and analytic dashboard, just making it easy for end users to create visualizations and dashboards. When it started, I think like about 8 or 10 years back, that was kind of a differentiating factor. But today, that's pretty much table stakes. Every BI tool in the market offers that. So I think that Tableau is obviously innovating and adding a lot more features, but that distinction is no more the differentiation factor for Tableau. So it's continuously improving in other areas like Ask Data, Explain Data. Some of the features that Tableau released as part of the 2019 release is Ask Data, Explain Data, which is infusing AI into analytics. So Ask Data is natural language way of creating dashboards. You can type in a question in natural language and Tableau will create visualizations for you. Explain Data is another neat feature from Tableau, which basically is you can click on a specific data point in a visualization and click on Explain Data. So behind the scenes, it runs logistical algorithms and gives you what is causing that data outlier, which is kind of neat. It helps with the enhancing analytics experience. In terms of the cons is, as everybody might have already known, that Tableau was acquired by Salesforce. I think that's one area we are not certain in terms of the direction of the roadmap of how that would change with the acquisition. So that's one caution we would say. And most often from our standpoint, what we have seen in the clients, in our clients is Tableau is used mostly, at least it starts in an organization as a complementary solution to an existing enterprise BI solution, which does not have a lot of the data discovery and visualization functionality. So it starts off that, and then depending on how quickly the users adapt to it with the design first approach, it might grow into an enterprise level reporting and dashboarding application. Or we have seen organizations who try to replicate exactly what enterprise reporting does in Tableau with like tabular list reports, and they struggle with that because Tableau is not meant for that. It's more visual data discovery. So I think with that, I'll hand off to Scott, and we can definitely take any questions.
Okay, thank you, Suresh. All right, so now we're going to move on to Power BI. So John, take it away.
Okay, thanks, Scott. So Yeah, just real quick here. Quick view of some of the features. This is not an exhaustive list. There's plenty more on this link that you can see there. I just wanted to highlight a couple of them. And the next slide, I'm going to talk more about the licensing structure, which is actually pretty simple. This sort of shows you the difference between Power BI Pro and Power BI Premium. You can have Power BI Pro, but it's more of an individual license, and then Power BI Premium is more of a kind of an enterprise license model. So, you know, in terms of features, it can do all sorts of things in terms of content. You can imagine that because it's Microsoft, there's a lot of integration points between it and other Microsoft products such as Excel. So, you know, you can natively browse a data set in Excel. We actually did a Take30 session on that a couple weeks ago. There's embedding features. There, you know, other Microsoft products like Teams, SharePoint. You know, you can integrate with those as well. Report subscriptions. There's some artificial intelligence, which all the products seem to start using more these days. But you know, you can. I think we did a little bit another session on that as well a week or so ago, where you can pose questions and you know, it will figure out semantically how those questions relate to your data and come up with some interesting insights. In terms of data prep, the tool already includes data prep, which used to be called Power Query. So it's all merged into one canvas in the desktop version of Power BI. In terms of the architecture, there's a desktop client and there's a web client, which you know, you build things on the desktop, you publish them to the web, and then they can be consumed, you know, on the web, in mobile. Even we have some things going to Apple Watch, for example. So, you know, they've focused a lot on the different more modern sort of platforms of pushing information out to all platforms. There's reports, visualizations, dashboards. Much like Tableau, it's kind of a visualization first sort of model. And it's also kind of a cloud first sort of model. Power BI has only been around for about 5 years, but I'd say in the last 2 years, they've really come a long way in terms of being a lot more pervasive. There's custom visuals you could build, but there's also something called the marketplace, where you can download a bunch of different visuals that others have built. So there's a lot of kind of crowdsourcing in Power BI as well. Access to tons of different data sources, as you can imagine, it's pretty unlimited in terms of what data sources you can connect to. A lot of people have built custom connectors, so there's really no concern there. So in terms of deployment and administration, this is where the differences between the Pro and the Premium are mostly. So if you want a dedicated instance, you go with Premium. So if your organization is large and you're going to have, you know, 1,000 users, that's probably why you'd go to a Premium. But if you're a smaller organization, you get away with a number of Pro licenses, right, which are sort of the shared model. And then as you go to Premium, you can increase the size of your data sets, you can store more data behind the scenes, and you can refresh the data more often between your on-premise data sources and the cloud. Too many features here to go over in too much detail, but can you go to the next slide, Scott, please? Okay, so just real quick on the licensing, it's fairly simple. There's a free license which isn't listed here. That would be if you're just getting started, you know, as an individual, but not really part of your organization. You could download the desktop tool for free. It's also included for people who have Office 365 Enterprise E5, the Pro licenses, that is. But the Pro license is just under $10 a month. There's different pricing tiers for nonprofits, you know, cheaper than that. But you know, it starts at $10 a month, and there's really no increase from there. Power BI Premium is the dedicated piece that I talked about, which is close to $5,000 a month, but for an organization of 1,000 people, you can see how that would not really be that expensive relative to maybe some other tools that for 1,000 users might cost a lot more. So then the Pro license is really what most people end up using, because it allows you to do things like share. So if you don't have the Pro license, you can't really share. You can just consume, but some people do get away with that. Okay, so licensing is kind of a quick topic here. Scott, go to the next one, please. Okay, so our perspective and the industry perspective, I'll just kind of highlight a few things that if you haven't heard of it by now, I'd be really surprised. 97% of the Fortune 500 uses Power BI at this point. They definitely have a lot of, leader representation in both Forrester and Gartner. Lots of companies are starting to migrate or at least complement their existing BI infrastructure with Power BI. It's definitely very easy to use. So that and it's offered, again, it's bundled with Office 365. So they're doing a lot of outreach to push the tool out there. Pricing model I already went over. Another very interesting thing here is that they give you preview features. So every month, everybody who uses Power BI has access to what these preview features are, sort of a beta testing, but a little bit more publicly available. And they push those out there telling you they're preview, but within a month or two, they're usually generally available. So that's a nice thing that you get to see things almost too fast, right? Some of the features come out faster than you can even check them out. They support hybrid models, which is, if you want to bring in multiple sources into one semantic model, you can do that. A few of the features in the on-premise, so I would say that Power BI is definitely a cloud-first application. If you want to have it on-premise, you can, but the features tend to be a little bit lacking or lagging a little bit behind. I think that's a strategy that they push. Not that you can't do it on-premise, but it tends to be cloud first. If you want the new stuff first, you would move yourself to the cloud version. And then the direct query mode, we found that is a little bit slower for some platforms. So a lot of people will load the data into memory, into their Power BI model, and it makes it very fast. A couple other things here on the tabular paginated reporting. It's the old SSRS, if you guys are familiar with that. It's now integrated into the portal. We feel this is a little bit older technology, but at least you can get to it from the same portal, right? It's not really intended to be a replacement tool for that. So that's a mistake people sometimes make, is they think they can go and rebuild all these tabular, pixel perfect kind of older style reports, but you want to use the SSRS for that. Power BI is more the visualization tool. I mentioned the integration with Office products. We really like this feature, especially the Excel. People have always used Excel. They find it easy to use. So, pulling data right straight into Excel and doing pivot tables and other reporting is very simple to do. It also exports directly to PowerPoint. I think that's another feature people appreciate. If you want to run to a meeting, you can download something and put it right into a PowerPoint. The mobile experience is great, as I mentioned earlier. A few other things, it supports row-level security. We feel that it's also a short learning curve for most people to learn this tool and collaborate. Even to be a developer, it doesn't take that long. There's a lot of learning tools out there just online to go kind of poke around and figure out how to use the tool. Another thing that we really like here is being able to vote on new features. So they have a whole features list. It's called ideas.powerbi.com. You can go vote and see all these different features that you want to be on the roadmap. And it's sort of a community crowdsourced way of pushing features to the front of their roadmap. And those tend to be delivered more often based on advice and the number of people that vote on that. And then last but not least, Ironside has a silver data analytics partnership level with Microsoft. So we do have access to technical resources that just the general public doesn't have access to. So I know I was trying to go fast, Scott. I know we have a few others, but that's it for the Power BI side.
Okay, thank you very much, John. Okay, so next, Bob with Cognos Analytics on Cloud.
All right, Scott, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hopefully. All right, so IBM has 4 versions of Cognos in the cloud. It's really fewer than they used to have. They had a lot of different variations of it before. They've cut it down to just the 4 now. So the first one is a free trial online. It's 90 days for up to 5 users. You'll literally get a full-blown version of Cognos that you can access and kind of kick the tires with. It's just a single instance, so you're not getting dev test production, things like that. There's no access to legacy tools. You don't get any IBM support. So there are limitations to it, but it's a great way to get access to all the Mode 1 and Mode 2 reporting capabilities and get yourself familiar with Cognos Analytics. They also have Cloud on Demand. So this is the version where you can basically e-commerce your way onto the Cognos on the cloud. You see the pricing there. So standard is $15 per month. Plus is $35. Premium is $70. Those are in line with other cloud providers for analytics and BI. Standard is all of the Mode 1 stuff minus explorations. The Plus gives you the capability of doing exploration. So that's the Watson Analytics style predictive version of the dashboard environment, so to speak. And then the premium gives you full-blown, I get all of that stuff, plus I get the Mode 1 report authoring environment. I can do scheduling of reports and things like that, so that expands that out. And you are able to pick those for however number of users you want, and they have the flexibility of monthly or annual subscriptions. And so we get into the more robust versions. We have Cloud Analytics Cloud Hosted, which is the enterprise version. This is a dedicated service for you. It's all of the features of Cognos Analytics in a single tenant system. The updates will occur automatically when new versions release, or a schedule that you can provide them. I think it's current -3, so you can stay within. You have to stay within 3 versions, but you can set those up and give yourself time to maybe not go up every version, but skip a few and move up, which are basically coming out about quarterly now. So they're in a time frame of about 3 to 4 per year. So you can kind of meld that out as far as your upgrade process goes. You're also given the ability to have 1 or more pre-production environments, so dev tests to QA and production like that. And finally, Cloud Pack for Data, which is an interesting concept. It's basically it's a full set or full suite of products that you can use to create a cloud instance for analytics. And those can be used across like Amazon Web Services and Google and Azure, and of course the IBM Cloud as well. They just released, I saw the email yesterday, they just released the latest version of Cloud Pack. We did not get a chance to actually dig into any of the major changes of that. So, again, the email was late yesterday afternoon. So if you're interested in that, look out for that. There's more information out there as well. All right, next slide, please. Playing catch up. So obviously, IBM Cognos has been around for quite some time. It was the de facto enterprise standard for years. Mode 1 reporting is their strong suit. They've moved into Mode 2 and over the last few years, adding the dashboarding and the online capabilities. So they really pulled together those 2 components along with a lot of the AI capabilities, natural language that they've added as well. There are a couple of the things that they've been hit on in the past, obviously pricing. They're working towards, obviously, that second version is reasonably priced. You can get into the market with Cognos Analytics on the cloud and use all of that for a reasonable price. There are some limitations versus for their enterprise or on-prem version versus the cloud version, which are basically the same. The good news is if you have an on-prem version and you're moving to the cloud, you're not going to see much differences. The UI, the reporting engine, the query engine in the background are all the same. So that's a great thing. A couple of the minor things that you won't be able to use for like dynamic cubes, Jupyter notebooks, some of the legacy studios are not turned on in the cloud instances. But you get that full feature robust enterprise reporting package, whether you're on premise or on the cloud.
Okay, thank you very much, Bob. So I'm going to cover Amazon QuickSight quickly, and we might go over a little bit. again, do recall that we're going to be sending out a survey after this session that's going to help, your answers on that survey are going to help drive the content for part 2 of this cloud BI focused Take30. So Amazon QuickSight. So with QuickSight, there are no servers or software to manage, maintain, or deploy. You can scale to tens of thousands of users with no infrastructure management. Certainly this gives you peace of mind despite increasing data volumes, data complexity, and analytical complexity. So, from the point of view of data, one can create data sets from a variety of sources, S3, number of popular relational databases, and even flat files. You have the ability to join between tables and also between different types of sources. So if you wanted to join a flat file to a table, you can do that. Flat file to S3, you can do that. It allows for custom SQL. So if you wanted to create a view and launch a data set off that, you could. Also supports scheduled refresh of data sources, and it has Spice, which is an in-memory caching engine. It can be embedded in other applications and customized to match your brand standards. You can create analyses and dashboards. The feature set there are many of the ones that we consider to be table stakes. Filters, visualization, prompts, conditional formatting, right? Largely what every other tool has, they have. Machine learning insights, or ML insights. This is a differentiator, right? So QuickSight allows you to create contextual relevant insights with anomaly detection, forecasting, alerts, and customizable narratives. You can also schedule dashboards and email reports or email alerts. It also supports CSV exports. In terms of licensing, there are basically 2 licenses. Authors, who can create and publish interactive dashboards. That's $18 per user per month. And then readers, this is an interesting model here where it's per session. So a reader is someone who can access an interactive dashboard and work with the filters and the controls and all of that inside of the dashboard. They can't create new dashboards. But it's 30 cents a session up to a maximum of 5 users per month. So if you've got an environment where you have a tremendous number of just consumers, this can be quite cost effective. In terms of industry and Ironside perspectives here, it's a relatively new, continually maturing platform. Some of the feedback is that the variety of data visualizations is limited compared to some other modern BI tools. Certainly the basic ones are there, as well as some more, I guess, sophisticated ones, and more come out every month. It certainly is a seamless and economical cloud BI platform. And a major selling point here for QuickSight is the native integration with other AWS services. So for customers who have largely moved to AWS, in terms of their other applications and data sources, QuickSight is a natural fit. We see significant progress since it was first introduced. Again, it's emerging, it's maturing. Some of the features are ahead of peers, some at parity, where others, need some catching up, right, to be at parity with competitors. Again, extremely complementary to AWS data analytics-based platforms. So things like data lakes and data warehouse in Redshift, EMR, and SageMaker. We really do see it as a competitive usage-based pricing model. And finally, there are tremendous advantages to it being cloud native and serverless.